Welcome back to another episode of the Everyone's Different podcast. I'm Tristan Jass, but some people like to call me T Jass.
And I'm Young Trench. Today we are here with an absolute legend. We got Cerci Mahone here. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. It's great to be here. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Man,
Yes, sir.
people don't understand what's going on right now. This is probably going to be my favorite episode just because Cerci right here changed my life in like dead ass. Without him, I would not be where I'm at today. I'm just excited to have you, man. How you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm blessed. Thank you, and thank you for that kind introduction. And the feeling is mutual when it comes to what you've done for me too as a coach. Have an opportunity to coach you made me a better coach as well.
Really?
Oh, yes,
You
man.
think so?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, there was things I had to change as far as my view because you were so talented. You know, when I walked into the Lance, I remember that night. It was a Tuesday night. I remember like it was yesterday.
You remember the day? That's
Oh,
crazy.
Tuesday night.
It was a Tuesday night. I came walking in. You were playing for the Wave.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I just saw you over there, working on your handles. I said, who's this little white-haired kid over here working on their handles? Everybody else was at half court talking. I said, that's the guy I got to reach right away. So,
Mhm.
Wow, man. I remember that I could see it very like right here in my eyeballs right now.
That's right.
I remember that night exactly. And who would have thought that night would have changed my life forever?
Yeah, what do you think it was about him specifically that made you like change the way you had to coach and stuff?
because first of all, he was so damn talented.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and not only physically, but mentally.
Yeah.
His mental approach to the game was second to none for somebody so young. And so as a coach, and you saw not saying his other teammates were terrible, but they weren't up to his level.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make sure I gave Tristan an opportunity to still be himself and also be able to work his teammates to the point where we can get up to his level.
Yeah.
Because Tristan was all about winning, you know what I mean? He didn't like losing, and I don't like losing,
Yeah.
and I knew that we had to, really work to surround him with quality players
Yeah.
that would, had the same dedication that he did.
Yeah. And for everybody that might not know who Cerci is, he was my coach from sixth grade to what, probably 8th grade?
Until about, just because then you went to Trimper
Then I went off to high school and played
Right.
high school ball and then played with some other AAU teams.
in
But
Milwaukee.
Yep, in Milwaukee. And so Cerci was my coach around that time for travel basketball.
So you were like, what, 11, 12?
I was young, man, and thank you for the nice comments about me being talented, but I didn't even know that I was talented at that time. I was just figuring myself out. I had no idea, that I was going to be doing this basketball shit for the rest of my life, or, I had no idea I was going to be here, But the one thing that really helped me was you instilled a work ethic into me that I did not have. Like, I don't know if it was just from, the workouts we were doing, like just something about what you did. would not be where I'm at today without you.
Well, Tristan, to be honest, I saw you and myself. You know what I mean? You were like a young Cerci, because when I was a kid, I used to practice 10 to 12 hours a day. I didn't have a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a basketball player. The thing that made me turn my life around as far as what I knew I had to do, I went to Chicago Bulls basketball camp in Naperville. Had some great coaches, Dick Mata, who coached the Dallas Mavericks to their only championship.
Nice.
Al McGuire from Marquette. Back then, Jerry Sloan, who coached
The
Utah
Jazz.
Utah Jazz,
Mhm.
Norm
Wow.
Van Leer. I had some great people in front of me to motivate me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I went to practice in Naperville, which was called the Medalist Camp. And I came with my hair braided.
Okay.
And Coach Mata said, you know what? If you spend more time practicing and you did braid your hair, you'd be pretty good. And, I started crying. I said, I thought I was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I had one of the coaches, and I forgot the gentleman's name, and he said, how many jump shots do you shoot today? I said, about 100, 200. He says, you might as well find another job. He said, because you're never going to be any good unless you shoot about 500 to 600 a day. And that really instilled in me, like I said, that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Repetition, muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew all that when I was like in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And you could see my body transform into a better basketball player when I was doing that.
Yeah.
And also, too, I had the pleasure of meeting Greg Norman. I think I was in Fort Lauderdale. And I asked him, I said, how many balls a day do you hit? He said, about 900 when he's on the driving range.
Wow.
And then you could see that carries over into the same thing as basketball. And then now you see guys like Steph, Durant. These guys shoot 2 to 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
A day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing, some of the things that I learned that I had to share, you know. And my dad always told me, man, if you have the privilege to take the elevator to the penthouse, send it back down so somebody else can have the nice ride up there too. And so when I saw you, I said, I got to make sure I do right with this gentleman here, because you were a special talent, and you still are, and you're growing, and you're going to get, you know, even better, man.
Shit, I appreciate that.
You know, it's well deserved. You know,
Well,
the hard work
shit,
you put in, Tristan.
You taught me hard work, man. I had no idea what it was until I was, you know, I was getting screamed at for being lazy. I was getting yelled at for, you know, possibly, you know, disrespecting my parents at home when I was a young kid.
No, I remember
You
told you that.
disciplined me, man.
Right. Well, because you got to remember, you had sweet parents, man. Your parents, you know, put a lot of effort into you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put the time into you. Where a lot of these kids, they don't get that.
Yeah.
And so when I see a kid who said, you know, who would be disrespectful to their parents, and I used to say, you wouldn't do that to me in practice. There's no way in hell you're gonna sit there and talk to your parents like that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then expect to play for me. I said,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't work that way, son. And you know, it took us a while, because I can remember his dad used to be really irritated with me because I was hard on Tristan.
Yeah.
But you know what? He had the skills, he had the talent, and I was just trying to teach his young brother. Say, hey, man, just keep working hard. Try and do what I asked you to do. You're gonna make mistakes. I don't care. But one thing about Tristan that I love is I didn't have to coach effort. The kid always busted his tail. It was just a matter of teaching him the game of basketball, you know, and that takes time.
Yeah.
It really does, you know, because he was so talented.
Mm-hmm. It's good though, because as long as you have like that mental thing just in your head, then you're able to learn that type of stuff way faster than the other kids.
Right.
Nah, for sure. And we were like, just by the way we practiced, the way you ran practice, everything was all organized. All the drills we were doing, like everything was that built like our mental mindsets of like, yo, if we put this work in, we're gonna see the results. And when we first came together as a team, I feel like we were all over the place. We weren't like, you know, that special or anything. And as we kept, you know, working, we just got better.
Right.
And it was a beautiful process.
Well, that's what, you know, how it's hard to do, you know, is to, you're going to make mistakes. I don't care as a coach if you make mistakes, as long as you learn from your mistakes and that you keep trying to get better. But I also had to make sure that I kept Tristan stimulated, because in practice, to be honest, there was nobody that could, you know, control him as far as guard him. And so what was I going to do as a coach to push him harder? And I used to tell him, your practices have to be seamless. No mistakes, son. There's no reason for you to make mistakes out here with these young men. I want every pass to be perfect. I want you to be a leader out there, and you can be vocal, you know, but, you know, say things in a way that's not too intrusive or take your teammates down.
Yeah.
And he never did that. But, you know, he had the ball in his hand about 75% of the time. And so when you're controlling the ball that much, it's nice for me because, like I said, Tristan, you know, let's run Princeton, let's run Notre Dame, and he would make sure we got into the right sets, everybody's in the right spot. You know, he was the Tom Brady of basketball back then. He really was, man. He was the real deal. And I was lucky to have a guard because, you know, to me, guards are the one that control the tempo of the game. They're like an extension of the coach.
Of the coach.
Yeah,
Second
100%.
coach.
That's right.
100%.
And
You taught me that.
And when it came to practicing, that we practiced like it was almost like military. We did plyometrics back then. We did ladders. We would do.
You were grinding.
Oh yes,
No,
man.
people don't understand. Coach came through with the little goggles, bro.
That's
That's
right.
how I got my handles right. I
Is it the ones that like
swear.
block stuff off?
Dude,
Right.
I remember the first time you brought these goggles into practice. And I'm like, what the hell is Coach about to have us do right here? This looks crazy. He's really going to have me put on some goggles while I'm dribbling a basketball? like this looks like everyone else watching us is probably gonna think we're crazy. So I'm like, what is he doing? So I didn't understand at first, but those goggles that you put on your eyes, it makes it so you can't see the ball when you're dribbling it. So every practice, we probably took, I don't know, X amount of time out of practice to put these goggles on and just do ball handling drills. Whether it was, we'd, dribble from the corner to the elbow, then half court, and we'd do crossovers, then between the legs, then behind the back. And we would just do it and do it. And looking back on that, bro, I'm so happy we did that shit. Even though it looked crazy, it looked weird, it looked crazy.
It was crazy.
It worked, though.
That's right.
It really did work.
And we did a lot of 2-ball dribbling drills, too, as well.
2-ball.
Back then. And also there was these things called heavy basketballs.
Oh,
They're heavy. They're the same weight as a medicine ball,
Yep.
but you can dribble them. And we did a lot of passing and dribbling drills with that particular medicine ball because it made them stronger. It made you make your passes more accurate, and you really had to concentrate as far as what you were doing on the court. So, we had a lot of tools that we used to make these kids better. So.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic of working out, I've never had a coach show up to my house and put me through a fucking workout at my house. I've never had that in my life.
I remember it up and down your street.
So growing up, I lived on a hill on 83rd Place. It was a hill.
Yep.
So Cerci pulls up one day, and Cerci had the car with you open the door and it had everything, and there had the ladders, it had the goggles sitting there, had everything, the medicine ball, basketballs, it had everything. And I remember this so like vividly. I could see it. We were up and down that hill on my road, bro, just working. And neighbors would be outside like, what the hell is this, guy doing, yelling at this kid like, what's going on? And and then they started realizing, they're working out.
Right. And that street in front of Tristan's house had to be at least a quarter mile. And I would make them dribble one way doing one particular drill.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to come back and do it another way. So I said, Tristan, dribble backwards.
See, well, that's why he had so much of an impact on you, because that's like going out of your way to do something that you don't.
Yeah, like
you don't have to do that.
You didn't have to pull.
Yeah,
up to
you
the
don't have
crib,
to do
man.
that.
Oh yes, I did, because that's a covenant I gave myself, and the loyalty I have to my players.
Yeah.
If kids can't look up to us coaches as mentors, and some of them as replacements for parents. I'm no good. It's not all about W and L's, man.
Man, one of the best coaches the best coach I've ever had in my life.
Thank you. Some strong
seriously. I can remember one time we had a scheduled practice, and we the whole team showed up to the practice, and they were like, "Oh, the gym's closing down. We can't use practice." What did coach do? We go to the local rec. He gets the whole team day passes just so we could freaking practice, bro.
Damn.
I've never seen a coach do some shit like that growing up in my life.
See, that's what's gonna leave that impact on you. Is just when they really
left
just
it on
you
me,
go
bro.
out of your way to just do something that I know he says he has to do it, but he doesn't.
And that's the thing. You really made me realize you don't need a gym to put in work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you taking the drills that he was teaching you and taking those home?
I was doing them every day.
Yeah.
I was doing them every day. After that time, he came to my house and showed me, we could run up and down this hill and put in some work. What was I doing? I was doing that shit at least a couple times a week.
Good.
Right.
But I don't know, man. It's so crazy. It's
And
so crazy to me. We're here sitting down right now, man.
No, this is cool. This is the way it should be. And I learned that up and down the hill training from a football legend, Walter Payton.
Oh, yep.
Walter Payton used to run up and down hills to improve his speed and strength. You're going up and down the hills. And that's what I used to do when I was a kid.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I used to dribble all the way through Petrified Springs. I used to wear a 20-pound weight vest with combat boots. And I used to jog from Carthage College all the way to Simmons Beach.
Man,
You know what I mean, because I knew what it took. I had some great exposure when I was young, and like I said, I wanted to be a basketball player, and it worked out well for me. It
Yeah,
really did.
man.
So
yeah, but I want to get back to what I was talking about. You made me really realize that you don't need a gym membership to put in some work. You don't need you don't need that.
No,
What were we doing? We would have every Thursdays we'd be down by the lake, or one time a week we would have a practice on Lake Michigan where we would have the heavy balls, we would have the speed ladder, we would have all this shit and plyometrics. We had boxes out there we would be jumping on, jumping off, working on explosiveness, and bro, that.
And yeah, I can recall we had like 25 kids, and they were dribbling from Simmons Beach all the way down to the bridge on 6th Street and back. And yeah, but you guys were dedicated, you know, and I have to say I was really lucky. I had good kids to work with. They all wanted it bad, and you know, if a young man wants to, I would give him everything I had. And a lot of it didn't have to do with dollars. It had to do with working with individuals that, you know, you're going to make a difference in their lives, and that's what my mom and dad taught me at a young age. And Tristan and I just, you know, really hit it off. You know, granted, there was times where, you know, we had issues during game situations where, you know, I told Tristan one game, he was just like, wasn't into it. I said, man, you know what? You should be playing hard every damn time. He said, you don't know who's watching you. I said, you know, these coaches nowadays look at you when you're in 8th and 9th grade.
Yeah.
I said, don't ever take a play off. And, you know, he gave me that look. I said, you know what? Just go to the inning bench, take your shoes off, because you're not coming back in. I said, just go down there and sit down, and you let me know when you're ready to play again.
You got to explain that. You got to explain that from your perspective.
No, you know what? When I was younger, I did have a bad body language issue because I would get down on myself, or I would get down, and you guys know how that is. You get just poor body language. You get down and your head's down, and coach is yelling at me, and I'm just looking at him like, yeah, okay, whatever. And, you know, Cerci was like, take your shoes off, go sit your ass at the end of the bench. You're not playing for the rest of the tournament.
Right.
Dead ass.
No, I didn't hold it to that because it was just a message I was trying to send, and it didn't take Tristan long because he wanted to play.
No, but those little messages that you gave to me,
yes, sir,
helped me not only in basketball but in life.
There you go.
Seriously.
Yes.
Like dead ass.
Because that's what it's about. It's about life, man. Because you know,
Man.
you know, one thing I try to teach my kids in the first day of practice, you know, I take a ball and I take all the air out. Well, when you bounce the ball with all the air out, what happens to the ball?
It doesn't bounce.
Nothing.
So you're not going to be playing ball your whole life. So prepare for life. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's
you know,
deep.
Yeah, because you're not going to be hooping all the time. And so what are you going to do after that time is up?
Yeah.
And so, you know, like I said, there's a lot of things that we try to teach our kids. And Tristan was all in. He was a good student. I love, you know, the challenge. He made me a better coach, like I said, because you know what? Coaching Tristan, I had to stay up late at night and then get up early in the morning because I was always thinking of ways to try to make him better and to make our team better. And as a coach, you know, your mind is always going, man.
Yeah.
It's always going. I mean, like Tristan, you know, I'm sure his mind is on autopilot all the time, trying to think of things to do that to improve his game, to help kids that, you know, that are out there following him. It's a long process, but it's something that, you know, that's in your heart, it's in your soul, it's in your blood. And that's one thing Tristan, you know, gave me the liberty of having as well, man.
Man.
I wanted to ask you, do you remember how it affected you when he says, take off your shoes at the end of the bench?
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, this is crazy. I'm a kid, man.
Yeah.
You know, but, like.
Do you think it changed your attitude towards just the game? Because you were like, damn, I can't just be looking like I don't give a fuck out here.
Well, yeah. You know, he pulled me aside, and he's like, you know, what if there was a college coach that sitting here you had no idea about, and he just saw you act like that? That fucking hit a switch in my brain. I'm like, you're right. I can't be acting like this. Right. And that taught me that basketball is like very mental. It's obviously you have to have the skill of the game. You got to be able to score at all three, you know, layups, mid-range, 3-point. You got to be able to hoop and shit, but like it's a lot of mental too, bro. It's not just, you know, the skills. You can't. I was like always down, and I was always, body language was just bad. And you flipped the switch on me, coach. You told me and you showed me like you can't be doing this.
Right. Well, you also had the discipline to understand where I was coming from, and we talked a lot, Trish. Your family and I are close.
Man, this dude would pull up to my birthday parties. You ever had a coach just pull up to your birthday parties and like you just hanging out with your family at cookouts and shit?
Hand him an envelope here, man. Happy birthday. And, one of the things that and this might bring some emotional to Tristan, but when his grandmother passed away, man, and I was sitting up, they said, "No, sir, you're not sitting in the back. You come up and sit up with the family," and that meant something to me. I mean, that stuck with me.
Yeah.
From day one, and then I knew I was part of the clan, and so.
Hell yeah, man.
His mom and I and his dad, the grandma, we're all tight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after games, we would all just ride around town, and because in between games, you may have a 2-hour delay, and so we would all just hang out and talk basketball, and I was always trying to gain that mental advantage with Tristan. I always wanted to, to rent some time out in his brain. I said, I'll give you $20, man. Let me rent your brain out, for a while so I can get into it. And he was always up for it. So having Tristan as a player, like I said, it was very rewarding. And, it still is to me to this day to see my man doing as well as he is. I mean, the crew that he has with him that's, like you, Mr. Glass, and Ron, and, you guys.
Mr. Glass. So his last name is Taft.
My last name's Taft.
but
That's
he is-
just my family.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But he's
I apologize.
no, you're good. But
Yeah.
he's related to the Glasses, so that's funny. Yeah. So for everybody out there,
I apologize, sir.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
it's just funny. They're related. Cerci and Trench are related, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Down the family line.
That's
It's funny, but it's like
We got an athletic family, man.
Oh, very much so.
Very
crazy. One of the most athletic families I've probably heard of.
Definitely the most athletic family to come out of Kenosha for sure.
Yes, on both sides, man.
Man, seriously,
Both
we got to get into that. Enough talking about me, man. We got to. Cerci, where are you from?
I'm from Kenosha, Wisconsin, small town, about 30 miles south of Milwaukee, hour north of Chicago, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
same city as me, man.
That's right, man. Great town to grow up in. I mean, it was very peaceful. We all got along. Great competition. I mean,
Yeah.
it was-
What high school did you go to?
I went to Bradford High School.
You went to Bradford.
Yeah, all my other brothers and sisters went to a Catholic school.
Okay, and you had a big family, right?
Yeah, 10.
10
wow.
brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 boys, 3 girls. And it's amazing because my sister, she was the best athlete. She went to all-girls school called Kemper Hall, back when they wore the plaid skirts. And
Yeah.
and I used to practice a lot at Kemper Hall. Have you ever been there?
Kemper.
Is that the Kemper Center?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a hoop in there.
There's a hoop in there?
There's a gym there.
Yeah.
And
There is?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there because they use it for conventions. I go there for the Christmas celebrations
Oh,
every
yeah.
year.
No, it is there. It is
Mhm.
there.
Why didn't nobody tell me there was a court in there? I would have been in there.
And it's
We
and
could
it's-
go there either way.
Yeah, and it was always open. It was never locked. So I would ride my bike down there at 9 o'clock at night and turn the lights on and just hoop until about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Oh, see, I would have.
Yeah,
That sounds so like beautiful, man.
it was, man.
That is great.
Because I recall back in the day, because like you said, Tristan, I didn't need a hoop. I practiced most of my time in my backyard.
Yeah.
And I used to practice until like 2:30 in the morning. I would put a spotlight in the ground, run an extension cord to the garage, and just shoot jump shot after jump shot. And I remember the police officer say, "Hey, Cerci, you got to put the ball away," and because the neighbors are complaining. So the police officer would leave, and I would sneak back out,
Yep.
go to the garage door back out, start hooping again.
Man.
I know
Yeah.
that feeling.
Yeah.
That sounds like a movie, man.
No, I know that feeling,
Yeah.
man. We'd be hooping till 2 in the morning back when I was a kid.
That's right, man.
Yeah, that's like the
And
basketball.
it was safe.
dream.
Nowadays, I don't know if you'd be able to get away with that, with all the stuff that's going on, socially speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt safe in my backyard.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I was like 30 yards, not 30 yards, but 30 feet from my home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just be hooping all day, all night.
Yeah.
Hell
I mean,
yeah. Hell yeah. So, I wanted to get more into about your family too. Like your mother has a school named after her, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Mahone Middle School,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what Mary
Mary Lou Mahone.
Lou Mahone.
It's Arthur, my dad, Arthur, and Mary Lou Mahone. Yeah.
Wow, how do you get a school named after your family? Like, what do you have to do that? That's crazy.
Well, yeah, it's amazing because my mom, we weren't a very wealthy family, and usually, that's named after some like philanthropist or something like that.
Yeah,
But my mom was an activist back in the '60s, with the race wars.
yeah,
My mom, with the help of a lot of other local leaders like the Tenutas, the Bonafiglios, the Honorable Judge Wilk, who was a federal judge, they used to always come to my mom's house and talk at night. Because I remember I was like maybe 9 years old, and I woke up, I said, Mom, why are these white people in our house?
Yeah.
Really? I said,
Yeah.
why do they always come over here? And I see them, drink a little brandy, eating some soul food. And my mom said, we were here just trying to help the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could just see it grow, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And, my brothers all went to St. Joe's. Back then, there weren't too many African Americans going to St. Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
And, they set a precedent as far as, putting the Mahone name out there in basketball.
Yeah.
But, like I said, it takes a community to help kids grow.
Yeah.
And it really did with me. There was a lot of different people in the community that really helped me and guided me.
Yeah.
Because, my dad was working two and three jobs. My mom was trying to run a household. And trust
Wow.
me, if it wasn't for the strength of my, my aunts and uncles, that extended family that we have, things wouldn't be, I don't think, as rosy as they are for me now.
Yeah.
It made a big difference. Just like you, Tristan, and your family,
Yeah.
they kept a tight string on you, man.
For sure.
they did.
And yeah.
Okay,
So you said you were 9 years old when you would come downstairs or whatever and see, these white people in your house. What year was that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
Man, I can't add, subtract. I can't remember. I'm 67 right now, so
67. So
you do the math.
Ron, do the math for us.
Do the math. Shit, man.
Yeah, but it was there was a gentleman, his name was Mr. Harold Mason. He worked for the Milwaukee Sentinel, I think, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And every year in Kenosha, they had what they called the B'nai B'rith. It was
What is? I don't. They
it
don't.
was a
Do they
fun-
do that still? I've never heard
No.
of that.
It was a fundraiser, a dinner, and they would always have a guest speaker come in. My mom wakes me up, and me and my brother Malcolm and Bruce. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we go downstairs, and I look, and I see who's sitting on my couch. Walt Frazier.
What?
Yes.
What?
Walt Clyde Frazier.
In Kenosha.
In Kenosha.
Get out of here.
No. Next year, same thing. Austin Carr. I don't know if you remember
What?
Austin Carr
What were they even doing in Kenosha?
for the B'nai B'rith.
So they were the speakers.
So
yeah.
this thing was huge then.
Yeah, it was huge.
Jeez.
You have to look it up. I can't remember.
How do we not know about it?
Because I was so young, but yeah, Mr. Harold Mason, he was a black gentleman. I was an editor, not editor, but a reporter for the Milwaukee Sentinel Journal. It's been a while back. Since then, he's passed. But yeah, man, you wake up and then, you see Austin Carr. Austin Carr was the dude that had like 35 that broke UCLA's all-time winning record.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
And another, and my mother's brother, his name was Chester, he was a photographer. And we used to sell a lot of black art in our backyard.
Yep.
I remember when I was like 11, I come home and there's Bobby Dandridge, Lucius Allen,
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Robinson, and
What?
Greg Smith in my backyard looking at this African art.
Get out of here.
Hey man, I got pictures and everything to document that stuff. As my uncle, like I said, he worked for the Milwaukee Sentinel or the Journal, was a photographer,
Yeah.
and he brought them down, and it was just amazing, man.
Oh
Some of
my
the
gosh.
some of the exposure I had. My sister went to Marquette University and was dating a player. I was able to sit on the bench at Marquette and watch Dean Meminger.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember Dean the Dream, but he was a starting guard for the New York Knicks, back with Walt Frazier and Earl Pearl Monroe and those guys.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I just got a lot of great exposure when I was a kid. People helping me out and showing me how to do things the right way. So,
Man, it sounds like we gotta bring back this event to
Dude,
Kenosha.
seriously.
That's
No,
right.
seriously. That's amazing. Like, why,
Mhm.
bro, I feel like I might have like a responsibility to
To
do
start
something
like
that
that.
dead ass because
That's got to be amazing for the community.
Oh, it was. I never
Yeah.
went to the actual banquet,
Yeah.
but he would just bring us in there and just talk to us. 'Cause I
Mhm.
remember one thing, Austin Carr, and when you guys get a chance, look up Austin Carr, man. You're going to be like, he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
But he used to say, man, shoot the ball. He said, shoot the ball, man. He
Mhm.
said, that's what the good Lord made it for, was to shoot it. So he said, don't be hesitant, but he says you got to practice. And, he went to Notre Dame, played for Digger Phelps. I don't know if you're familiar with Digger Phelps, but, he's a legendary coach, too, as well. So that was some great exposure that I had with him.
wow, man.
Mhm.
So I can't even believe that.
No, that's
shit.
crazy.
In
Imagine-
Kenosha.
Could
like,
you imagine when you were a little kid if you just like got up and you were like, why is Kobe Bryant sitting in my living
Yeah,
room?
or Giannis. Or
Yeah,
somebody,
literally.
you know what I mean?
You're just like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Jeez,
Mhm.
man. So I'm sure that like even impacted the game for you even more, seeing those guys
Oh, yeah.
at the crib.
Because they were living legends even then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, these are the guys I used to see on NBC every Saturday, And so, yeah, it made a big difference. But also, too, I had to be honest. Not every kid has that opportunity, man.
No.
And it would have been a sad, sad case if I didn't take it and did something with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, for them to give me the opportunity to be exposed to that kind of talent, I had to make sure I put it to work, put it to
Mhm.
use, put it into
Yeah,
my.
used it as motivation to get you
That's
going,
right.
man.
That's right. Because I can
Wow.
still see them as like it was yesterday. Walt Frazier had those big mutton chops.
Mhm.
Clyde and Austin Carr had the big fro, and
Bob Dandridge.
yeah, check out that history. There's Lucius Allen. Lucius Allen played with Kareem at UCLA and now with the Bucks. The only time before Giannis came that they won a championship
Mhm.
was back when those guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
man,
some history right
it
there.
is, man. It is. And so I had a lot of mentors, man. A lot of people that say, hey, brother, do this, do that.
Yeah.
So
So were all your brothers like good at basketball?
all my brothers were 6'4" or taller. I'm the shortest. I'm 6'2".
Oh, you're the
Mm.
shortest.
Oh yeah, man. I had some serious butt whoopings going on.
Okay, so
know.
growing up, you'd be hooping with them,
Oh yeah, all the time. Not only
and
that,
that got you better.
not only that, Walter Glass,
Mm.
senior,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best players ever.
Mm-hmm.
Is Walter Glass Senior. Check it out. Okay, we used to go to the old CYC
Yeah.
and we used to hoop upstairs all the time, man. And then
Oh, the old one, the
Yeah.
one that they knocked down.
on
Yeah.
52nd
52nd.
That one was
Oh.
lit, man. That one was so.
That's back where you used to play. That's back where you used to play Little Fry. Remember, you used to play
Yes, small
Small
fry.
fry.
small fry
Yeah.
with the 6-foot basketball.
Yes, coach.
Upstairs,
oh
yeah, man.
my
We
god.
used to play, all afternoon. Gym would be open, and it'd be like 30, 40 guys just playing.
Yep.
And then from there, we would go to the Lincoln Park and play.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
gosh. I wish I could have seen that
I
shit.
know,
Yeah, man.
dude.
Yeah. And the thing about it was a good blend. We had all the white guys from like St. Catherine's would come,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
St. Joe's, man. We'd be hooping, man. It was
Just
a-
all getting along.
Oh heck, man! We all knew each other. We
That's
hung out.
great, man.
Yeah, man. It was a great time in my life for me when it came to just growing up. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Hell yeah. So what's your story with the basketball though? Where did the game of basketball take you when you were like graduated
playing?
high school? What happened?
Well,
from
then
there?
I went to a small school in South Dakota because one thing, and we got to stress this, man. You got to hit the books, man.
Mm.
All right. I don't care what kind of skills you got. If you want to go to college, you got to hit the books, man. And I didn't take my education as seriously as I should have
Mhm.
because I had like 4 D1 opportunities that I couldn't get in because I didn't have the GPA, because I didn't take my school seriously, and I'm not afraid to say that, because it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
School was hard for me,
Yeah.
back then, and they said, well, you just can't sit still. Well, now it's attention deficit.
Yeah.
They call it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but school was hard for me, and was one thing is because my sister Sydney, like I said, I went to Kemper Hall. She was speaking and writing fluent Latin when she was 7th grade.
Wow.
She went from 4th grade to 6th grade. That's how smart my sister is, Sydney.
Damn.
Really?
And now she lives in New York. She's a playwright. My brother Malcolm was an academic art scholar in Chicago. And it's amazing. We lived in Kenosha, but my brother went to high school in Chicago.
Oh,
So
wow.
he had to drive there every day?
No, they recruited him. He lived with the coach.
Oh.
Dick Versace. I don't know if you remember Dick Versace. He was the assistant coach for Detroit Pistons when when the Bad Boys won their championship.
No shit.
Yeah, and he was the high school coach at St. Joe's. And so
What?
his name was Dick Versace. And so when he went from
Why don't we know any
That's
of
what
this
I'm
shit?
saying. Why
so
don't
when he went from St. Joe's, he went to Gordon Tech in Chicago.
Okay.
And he said, Malcolm, I need you. Malcolm was a defensive stopper. I mean, he would put Malcolm on somebody, shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember they were playing for the city championship because back then, Illinois, the state championship, the Catholic schools and the public schools had their own state tournaments. But they had a city championship. And I remember going to the amphitheater.
Yep.
It's amazing, man. It was like 30,000 people at a high school game, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was they're playing against, I forgot, Crane or maybe, I think they were playing against Crane, man. And Crane was all black, you know. It was just amazing atmosphere, man.
Yeah.
And my brother was recruited by Bobby Knight at Indiana. Dartmouth, he was really smart, like I said. And he ended up going to St. Louis University, transferred to Parkside, and had a good career there. But when you're talking about what am I doing or after high school, I went to a small school in, like I said, University of South Dakota at Springfield.
Yeah.
Did really well, led them to the first and only conference championship. From there, I went to South Dakota State University, a Division II school back then, and broke all their school records my first year. Went to an NCAA tournament, and my senior year weren't very good, but I was named most valuable player. I was named one of the top players in the region, which consisted of North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. And
Wow.
so I had a really distinguished career. And then I had the opportunity to go to the Denver Nuggets. I remember we were playing against the Colorado, and I had an outstanding game. We lost by like 4, but I had like 30.
You had 30 in an NBA game.
No, 30 in a college game where the Nuggets saw me.
Oh, where the Nuggets saw you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they invited me to camp as a free agent.
And this is after college.
Yes, sir. That's not my senior year.
So the Denver Nuggets see you drop 30, and they're like, "We got to get this guy."
Yeah, and they invited me to camp. You know, I wasn't, and it's amazing. I remember Larry Bird. Okay, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Well, there was another guard. There was another player named Carl Nix, lieutenant guard. He was their number 1 pick, and he got cut.
He got cut.
Well, I think he got cut, or he didn't do quite well. But anyway, I made it to the last cut. I made it the preseason and did pretty good. It's just that, back then, nobody goes to South Dakota for basketball players. You know, you go out there for a side of beef or something.
Yeah.
It's really.
Yeah.
Nowadays, with ESPN and all the exposure and all the recruiters, they're finding all these great players all over now.
Yeah, anywhere.
Yeah, but I had a great career in there from the Nuggets. They said, you're a great athlete, and one of the amazing things that I remember is I got in trouble at practice. I don't know, I was doing something wrong. Oh, I know what happened. I left my playbook in my hotel room. Okay.
Okay.
And
You
that,
used to give us playbooks, Coach.
you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. And what grade was this?
What grade was I in?
7th grade, 6th grade.
Sixth grade. You gave
Yeah.
us playbooks.
Yeah.
Every kid had a playbook
And you were supposed to
to
study it.
study.
Well,
Yeah.
not only study, it just gave them some resources. As far as like it was just like a journal. If they wanted to go home and practice on their own, all they had to go through was their notebooks. Everything we did was there for them.
Yeah, but it was very helpful for everybody on the team because let's say we're running a play in practice or something and you might not know exactly what to do. This playbook on paper showed you exactly your movement, where you're going. So it was great. Sorry, we'll get
don't
get
be
back
sorry.
to it.
And another thing too is like I'll be saying, I would give them workout sheets and say, on your days off, what are you doing on your days off when we're not practicing? And so I would ask one player, you're not shooting the ball well, and he says, well, I've been working. Let me see your playbook. And then in this playbook, it's all blank.
Yeah, well, it was like a log. It was a
Right.
log sheet.
Right.
So he would give us a log sheet to say how many jump shots we hit today, how many ball handling drills we did today. And we would come back to practice and give it to Coach, and he would see who was actually at home putting in work. It was a cool system, man. It was
Right.
great.
And at a young age, I thought it also too to keep their mind locked into the game. And so, but like I said, when I was at the Nuggets, And I left my playbook in the locker room. It cost me $500. And back then I was just unsigned walk-on, so $500 was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came to practice, he made me stand in the corner with my nose to the corner. You know, nowadays, you think NBA players would do that?
Hell
What?
no.
Hell no.
The coach made you stand with your face up against the wall in the corner
Yeah.
Damn.
at an NBA practice?
Yeah.
Put you in a
And-
timeout. Literally.
Literally, that was a little time
Yeah,
out.
literally.
You know,
No
what I should have
way.
had a done time.
Yeah, literally.
You know.
Oh
But-
my gosh.
But I remember Dan Issel. Check out who Dan Issel is. Bobby Jones was just there before he went to Philadelphia, and they said, "Hey, Rook, stay there. Don't move a muscle, Rook. Don't look around." And then afterwards, Coach said, "Hey, Cerci, come here." He says, I wasn't trying to embarrass you. He said, "I just wanted to see if you were disciplined." He said, "I just wanted to see if you would do what I asked you to do." He says, "If you don't do what I asked you to do in practice, there's no way in hell you're gonna do what I want you to do in the game."
In the game.
And so he was just
Wow,
just doing the
man.
mind check, and the players would walk, say, "Hey, Rook," they called me Rook. "Hey, Rook, don't look around, just stay where you are." "Hey, Rook," it's because they were jogging while I was standing in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And so they were really cool, man. So that was something I haven't forgotten either. He was just making sure that I was disciplined.
How long
You
did
know?
he have? How long did he have you sitting in that corner?
About 7 minutes or so.
That would have felt like such a long 7 minutes.
Yeah, but to me, just being in the gym with them was
An honor.
That's
Yeah,
right, man.
literally.
Yeah.
Hey, this little old kid from Kenosha,
Yeah.
South Dakota, and I'm here practicing with these NBA players. I said, "Okay, coach."
Yeah.
You know, nowadays you couldn't get an NBA player to do that.
Yeah. So did
But
any
things were different though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Did anyone back home was there Kenosha news or was anyone picking up like a kid from Kenosha is working with an NBA team right now?
Not really. The only thing that really struck home was I was named runner up for Player of the Year in the nation one week.
Really?
Yeah. I had a great weekend. I had like 40 points, then I had like 30 points. Made a half court shot to win the game, and I was
way.
Yeah, I was runner up for Player of the Year. Player of the Week in the nation.
Half court shot to
So,
win the game.
what?
That's like
Yeah.
the thing kids dream of doing.
Yeah, it was really.
Was anyone rolling the cameras back then?
Nah, man, we had tape back then.
Yeah, of course they were.
Cameras,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we had tape.
Of
You know?
course they were.
Man,
Yeah.
imagine if you were able to capture that like
Yeah.
on film and man.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably captured in your mind forever though.
Oh, forever, yeah.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, playing against the Cubans, that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They came over here, so I've had a great basketball career. I can't complain.
Yeah.
It's been really good to me. I've been blessed, and I just want to make sure I try to do the same for other kids and kids and girls. I've had some great girls teams too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing I love about coaching girls, it's a little easier than boys because boys they want to be like Steph, they want to be like Kobe, they want to have serious handles. And
Mm-hmm.
girls, they just want to go out there and play. They're a little bit more coachable. They know they're not going to be dunking,
Yeah.
but
Better with the fundamentals instead of trying to be
Oh,
all
yeah.
flashy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
right. Because girls are more, they'll be. I would say about 5 or 10 years ago, girls were more fundamentally sound than
Mhm.
boys were.
Yeah.
You had to be. They were nice passing because they weren't jumping up over the rim, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, girls basketball. I love coaching the girls, man.
Hell yeah. Coach used to get pissed. Stop throwing the no look pass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't mind a
Make
no
the-
look.
Make the fucking chest pass.
I don't mind Tristan making it, but if you make a no look pass, your teammates aren't expecting it. It's not a good pass.
Yeah.
Even though they drop it, but sometimes I could say to Tristan, "Hey man, you did fine. Don't worry about it." Really, because you know what, I couldn't hold him responsible for everything, man. The guy was just so much more better than everybody else. It was just fun to have him around. And I learned a lot. And then his little brother was always at the gym.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Little Brennan.
Yeah, he was always. I said, "Who's this looking?" That's my brother.
Yeah, you
And
know
I
how
always-
you know how tall he is now?
He's not a little brother anymore.
No, he's taller than you.
Yeah.
Brennan's-
6'2".
He's about 6'2", maybe a little 6'2", yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 6'2".
6'2".
And
Yeah.
he's got crazy bounce.
Does it?
Dude, he could come down the lane and just
Gotta
dunk it.
dodge.
But I don't think his interest is basketball
No.
in life. So whatever he wants to do, I'm gonna let him do it.
Well, Tristan, you know what? You're hard follow. Back up. You know what I mean? Because my son said, "Dad, I don't want to play basketball. After your career," I said, "I don't want to be disappointed." So you're not gonna disappoint me, man. If that's
Mhm.
something you want to do, fine. Something you don't. But can you imagine? your younger brother, what you accomplished and what you're still going to accomplish, that's a hard,
It is.
that's a hard act to follow, man.
It is.
You know what I mean?
That's a big thing with it. It's like it's hard to like break out from that thing, and it kind of makes people feel like, oh man, maybe I don't even want to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to be behind what other people are doing.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just Brennan has he has so much potential. I just don't think he realizes, like,
What grade is he in now?
he's he just went to college for a little bit,
Okay.
and so he's back at the crib now.
Good for him, man. Yeah, but he used to practice with us all the time.
Hell
Mhm.
yeah.
He used to come to practice all
He's
the time.
talented, extremely talented.
Yeah,
Oh.
way more talented than I am, and I'll admit that.
Okay.
If he would just put in that work, man, he would. Oh, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
He'll do
Yeah.
something
It's
great
crazy.
regardless.
He's figuring out, but he's gonna do something. Love the kid to death, man. He's gonna figure it out.
Oh yeah, he's a good kid, man. Really good kid.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little more soft-hearted. He was a very loving kid. He was. I thought he was. I mean, Tristan was more like he would be a little more confrontational, but his brother was a lot younger. You know what I mean?
He was young at the time.
Yeah, but he was just a sweet kid. He'd always come up and give me a hug. I said, man, this is a sweet little dude, man. I said, who's your brother, Tristan? I said, I said, no, but Tristan, he was full of piss and vinegar, man, and and you had to be, man. First of all, to play for me, and then also too, he was a competitor. He didn't like losing, man. He didn't like losing.
Shit, who does? No, actually, some people are cool with it. I was the worst,
Really?
most poor sport ever. I hate losing.
Yeah, must run in the family for you guys, man.
Yeah.
I'm competitive, man,
Yeah.
to a fault. I just,
Yeah, I learned the hard way. Say, hey, man, you know what? You don't like losing, then practice more.
yeah. Facts. I like that.
You know what I mean?
Literally,
Yeah.
got to put in the work.
And because one thing that also too was a big motivator for me is like, I was from Kenosha, a little small town. I didn't know what they were doing in Carolina. I didn't know what my competition's doing in San Francisco. So how do you know when enough is enough or enough is not enough? So that's what made me practice, 10 hours a day.
Wow, that's a cool way to look at that
Well,
shit.
that's crazy to think about too, because it's not like back then you couldn't just look up other people's like gameplay footage.
Yeah, you couldn't.
No. And if you could, it wouldn't make a difference because, I worked because I loved the game first and foremost.
Yeah.
And I saw myself getting better. When that coach says, man, you better go home and start shooting 400 shots a day. And then also, like I said, I kept a journal because I used to shoot, like, for instance, if 1 week I would shoot 5,000 shots and I would make 2,500, what are you going to do the next time when you go out and shoot that next week? You'll probably go to 3,000, then to 3,500. You know what I mean? You're getting better, you're concentrating more, and then when you see yourself being more successful, the harder you work.
That's addicting.
The more, that's right.
It's addicting to see the progress like that. That's what I feel like. That's what took me to the next level. Once I started seeing like, oh shit, I'm putting in this work, and I physically, mentally, like I just started feeling better,
That's
getting
right.
better.
You literally just see yourself playing better.
Bro, you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, what the hell's going on? Like, you get addicted to that, and then you gotta just trust the process and keep going.
Trust the process, that's right. And that's one thing you got to teach your kids, and that's a great word, Tristan. You got to trust the process and understand the process. And that's what coaches try to do with these young athletes. Trust the process, man. Alabama's football team is good for a reason.
Yeah.
Duke basketball teams are good. I mean, they got great athletes, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
they also have the great process, So,
Hell yeah, 100%. So
like you were talking to me earlier about, your podcast, how it's growing and growing and growing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The process, man.
it's a process. We started this podcast with zero followers, 0 subscribers, and I think the YouTube channel is at like maybe 4,000 subscribers, 4.3 thousand subscribers, but we started with 0, so it's like you got to just trust the process and keep grinding. And like, I don't know, it's this next generation is like, I'm curious to see what these kids are about to start doing, man.
Scary, man.
It's
But also
scary.
too, you got a great crew that works with you, man.
Here's the
Oh,
thing.
for sure.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like people always talk about the next generation, but I guarantee, like, the people that were older than us said the same thing about us. So, like, it's gonna be fine. That's how I think of it. We're always gonna think that. We're always like, oh, these kids, I don't know. They're gonna be fine.
Kids don't come out of the womb badasses.
No, and if anything,
You know what I mean?
these kids
Yeah.
that are
They're
younger than
taught.
us.
They're taught, or they learn from bad behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kids don't come up being mean or being racist or whatever you want to do. Call it. That stuff that they inherited.
You
or
all
they
picked that
learned.
up.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in kids. Man.
I really do. I genuinely
I
think
trust kids
this.
more so than adults.
I think this generation coming up right now, probably way smarter than us. Realistically, they have so much more at their fingertips just
Well,
to
they're
constantly learn from.
they got the internet right at their hands.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see so many kids on like tablets and like just, I don't know. I didn't do that. I was out riding bikes when I was a kid. I was out,
Right.
you know what? I might have been ding dong ditching or,
Trust, but the thing is, you gotta think they even his generation probably used to think the same thing about like our generation. They're like, these kids are inside playing Call of Duty all the time. Like that's just like how it's always gonna be. It's just gonna, and you're always gonna think that this generation after us is gonna think, oh, these kids don't do anything either. But they always figure it out.
That's a good point. They figure it out.
Yeah,
And you have to if you're going to be successful in today's world. It's so competitive. I mean, it's you got to figure it out. You know what I mean?
And these little kids are, dude. There's like 8-year-olds watching podcasts right now about business. Like it's like these kids are gonna be really, really well set. Honestly, I believe in the next generation.
And their
fully.
IQ, their technical IQ is a lot higher than ours was.
Yeah.
Well, personally speaking of mine, I can't speak for you guys, but yeah, man, it's totally off the shelf.
Yeah. I believe in them fully. I got a lot of faith in this next generation.
I'm curious to see what the hell's gonna happen.
Also,
So, but so I wanted to ask you, growing up in Kenosha, like hooping and shit. What I'm trying to think. Like, did you experience like any sort of like racism growing up?
Nah, not Kenosha, man.
Not at all.
Kenosha's
like
pretty
hooping?
good.
Kenosha was cool, man. Because Kenosha had a strong ethnics and Italians,
Yep.
blacks, whites,
Even like
Jewish. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
So we didn't have those issues, man.
yeah, right between
we all-
Milwaukee, Chicago too.
Yeah.
There was it was just like when Kenosha was on fire a couple years ago.
yeah.
People
Like,
from-
did anything happen like
people
that?
people from across the border came and started all
Yeah,
this
exactly.
shit,
It
you know
was.
what I
It
mean?
wasn't us.
When we growing up, man, our community was cool, man. The whites, the blacks all got along.
Cool.
Just when the stuff started in Chicago with this, I forgot what it's called, but anyway, when the riots were starting, it was all because we had people coming across the border.
Yeah.
Starting stuff.
Yeah.
And Kenosha's
Yeah.
always been super diverse. Like I don't know if you know this, but like
Diverse,
there was
thank
even
you.
there was even like spots for the Underground Railroad that were in Kenosha. Like
Really?
people would come to Kenosha
Really?
to not be slaves anymore.
That's dope.
Yeah, like it is extremely diverse. It's always been a very inclusive place.
Yeah, Kenosha was cool growing up.
Mhm.
It still is.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool.
It still is cool, man. There's nothing wrong with Kenosha.
It's cool. Everyone gets along, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we seen that. We saw that shit happen. The riots in Kenosha.
Yeah, man, I cried, man, like a
Being-
baby.
Being burnt down, the whole
Mhm.
downtown. You know how beautiful downtown is, right on
Mhm.
Lake Michigan, right there.
Right?
To have all these people come in from out of town and just
Tear it
mess
up.
shit up,
Yeah.
it was horrible. So I was just curious if anything happened like that in your time being in Kenosha.
No, man.
Yeah,
We were all in lockdown, man.
good
Mhm.
man.
And also, when I, like you said, over on 22nd Avenue over there, when I
Mhm.
look over there, I was almost burnt to the ground. So, yeah, I went there and I was watching this on TV, man. I cried, man. I said, look at my town, man, burning.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. And
So,
was
it
that so? Where Ruther is that where Bradford was when you
Yeah.
went to high school?
Mhm.
So that was all happening right by your high school.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
down the street in that general area.
Right. Great segment, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. This is cool.
Hell yeah.
This is cool. You guys are doing a fantastic job, man. You don't know how much this is going to benefit these young basketball players, girls and boys. So what are you doing,
Yeah,
man?
man.
You keep staying on the up and up, man, and don't let nothing get in your way, gentlemen.
Hell yeah,
Nice job.
for sure. We appreciate having you.
Mhm.
Before we leave, though, I do want to ask. This is my first time seeing you since damn near like middle school. I feel
Yep.
like so. Like, what do you got going on down here? Because you live in Florida now. What we got going on? What are you trying to do in the basketball world,
Well,
man?
I'm still trying to, get into the position where I can, help young kids. help young adults.
Coach, I think you have to, man. You were the
No.
best coach I've ever
Thank you,
had
man.
in my life.
Yeah, I haven't given up. I'm 67. I just had major back surgery, but now I'm healthy again. But it's really difficult down here because with all the mass shootings they have, up north, all the schools were accessible. You can get in them, you can get out. Down here, it's really tough. And it's 95 degrees. With the humidity like 90%.
Yeah, you're
just
trying to hoop outside.
You can't be hooping outside. with the kids' health.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to put together a basketball program that's like was with us.
Yeah.
All about fundamentals, AAU programs, even though I think AAU is overrated. And the reason I say that is because true AAU basketball is like kids like Tristan and, Kobe and, even Kobe Bryant said that AAU is overrated. You know what I mean? And so to me, it's just about practicing. But I'm trying to get my basketball back into the swing. It's really hard finding facilities down here.
Yeah.
Floors of football and baseball.
Shit. Maybe we'll have to just build a facility or something down here.
I want to put together a shooting academy where kids are coming in twice a week, putting up 600 shots, and putting them through some serious ball handling drills, and just give them opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
And so that's my focus is right now. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah.
Because I'm very particular how I do things.
Very particular.
I'm not just going to take, parents' money and herd kids through like cattle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a purpose and kids, I used to be a kid. I remember I used to look up to these coaches, and I used to say, "Please help me. Please help me become a better basketball player." And they did, man. And you gotta, do the same for the kids that are in front of you.
Hell
That's
yeah!
right.
And this guy means business, bro. I don't think I ever seen him not wearing a suit and tie, man.
Well, I want my players, to be proud of who's their coach.
It
And it's amazing too. How the officials look at you differently too.
was funny.
Hell yeah.
When
100%.
That's
Hey, we got a couple good calls back in the day.
Yeah, I
This
had
coach
to.
was looking professional.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, we just went when we went to the Miami Heat game. Tristan was like, "How much you want to bet he comes with a suit, man?"
Yeah, I did. I told him. I said I knew it. As soon as I gave him a hug, I said, "Coach, I knew you were gonna be wearing a nice little
Gotta
outfit."
have the
man."
blazer on.
Yeah, I had to dress down a little bit, Mr. Steph. I had to wear the blazer because I didn't, want to, be overboard. But I want Tristan to be proud of me. As much as I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of you so
And-
much, Coach.
And I think it's
Man.
important. First impressions are lasting, and my dad always told me that too. And it's amazing, like you said, when people see you walk in the gym, they say, "Uh-oh, Coach Mahone's team, we in for it. You better work hard today, man."
This guy walked in with a suit and tie. We are done. He means business.
Yeah, man, it was all about business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Coach, you hooked us kids up nice, man. We had
Oh, remember that?
Coach formed a connection through the Nike or
Yeah,
East Bay. I forgot what it
Nike.
was. Nike, and we were dripped out, bro, and
I feel
the
like
freshest, newest gear, bro.
Did y'all have like green jerseys?
Lime green.
I remember it,
Yeah.
man.
Lime
I
green.
remember.
Lime green shoes. And,
Mahone Hoops, man.
Yeah, Mahone Hoops. That's right.
Mahone Hoops,
I remember.
man.
Now it's called Mahone Basketball Academy.
Okay.
Okay.
Mahone Basketball
yeah,
Academy.
You have to go and check out the website.
Okay.
Hell
Okay?
yeah.
Yeah, check out the website.
We definitely will. And for everybody else watching, make sure you go check out the website.
Right. Because we're still, working with kids. I have a few kids I work with, about maybe 20 at the most right now, because my time is really tight. And like I said, we don't want to just hurt them through with cattle. And so,
Yeah.
we like cattle. So it's just, I'm trying to build and grow on it, but it just takes time, man. To build a big product.
Gotta trust the process.
That's right, man.
It's all about trust in the process. Well, shit, guys, we've been talking for probably a little bit over an hour now. We're about to go do a tour at University of Miami. So I'm gonna bring Coach with, and we're gonna go have some fun. Coach,
One quick thing here, man.
yeah,
For you listeners and followers of Tristan, and you guys are blessed to be in this position, okay? He has a hell of a staff. His posse, I tell you, is second to none. You guys do a stand-up job. Keep the hard work, gentlemen. Don't let nothing get in your way. And God bless you, all of you, man.
man,
Keep up
Coach,
the good work.
Appreciate that.
man,
Hopefully you'll have me back again.
bro, we'll have you back
We will.
whenever you want, man. This guy right here changed my life forever, and I'm forever grateful for it. So
Thank you, my brother.
thanks for sitting down and talking with us.
Mhm.
know.
All of Cerci's links to all of his websites will be in the description. Make sure you guys go check it out. This is
Thank
the
you.
Everyone's Different podcast. I'm Tristan Jass.
Young Trench. Peace out, guys.
Peace. We'll see you next episode.
Hey!